Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Swiss. Obviously, Heat Celtics Game 7. We already know what this is. Possibly the first time in NBA history a team blows a 3-0 lead. This is huge. I got two guests on here. Jay Briggs from Pick Dogs. If you watch NBA pick videos on YouTube, you already know who Jay is. And then I got Joy D'Angelo on. If you're active on NBA Twitter, you probably already know who Joy is as well. The reason I selected those two is because I was in the spaces when I was in the Twitter space when they placed a personal bet against each other on this series. Jay has the Celtics and Joy has the Heat, so I wanted to bring them on and give them each a time segment to share their thoughts going into Game 7. So let's do it. Let's talk some bets.
Welcome to the Swiss. The Swiss. Hey, get the Swiss.
The public is all over Miami here. Everyone's betting the Heat. But the odds makers do definitely react to it. The line drops from 8.5 down to 8. And now we're actually looking at Boston minus 7.5. So Sportsbook's definitely reacting to this Miami action. Doesn't look like anything's changing, though. Action is still coming in heavy on the Heat. All right, so as promised, Jay Briggs from Pick Dogs and Joy D'Angelo. If you've been following NBA Twitter, you've probably seen Joy recently in a space. I was there when this bet was placed. It was 2-0 Celtics at the time. I remember thinking Jay's got a brass set on him for taking the bet. And then he took an L to go down 3-0. But here we are now. I figured the best way to do it, instead of just having them scream at each other, why don't we just give them each a time segment? We'll go 90 seconds each. How about, since the Boston Celtics are home, we'll have Jay go first. I'm starting the timer in 3, 2, 1. You have the floor, Jay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So for me, if y'all follow my gym session for any duration of time this season, I've said I thought the Boston Celtics were just the best team in the NBA, let alone the Eastern Conference. You know, they kind of peeled off as the season went along. But even now, I still think the Celtics are the better team than this Miami team. Miami is an 8 seed. They played a hell of a series, and you got to give them credit for that, man. Miami has that dog in them, but player for player, roster for roster, team by team, I think the Celtics are just head and shoulders better. Down 2-0, I was a little nervous. I'm going to be honest. But, hey, the Celtics, they're here now. I think they're primed to get back to their second straight finals. We got to give them credit, man. Tatum, you know, top 5 player according to, you know, all NBA stats. You know, they gave him first team all NBA. Sometimes he doesn't show up and necessarily look like that, but other times he does. He's still young. This core's been together for quite some time, man. They've made runs like this before. Like I said, I just think team for team, they were the better team. And if they could just, you know, steal that one game 4, which they did, still won in Miami, then they could make it a series, and that's exactly what they did. So here we are, Game 7. It should be a good one.
And wow, that was exactly 90 seconds. I don't know if you rehearsed that. It was exactly 90 seconds. Definitely having the Game 7 in Boston is a clear advantage. All right, now it's time to hear from Joy. You already know who she's picking. If you've heard her on Twitter, you already know who she's picking. So go ahead, Joy. 90 seconds. You have the floor now.
So my initial pick was Miami in 7. Initially, before this series first started, I picked Miami in 7 because I do respect Boston. I do. You know, believe it or not, I talk crazy about Boston. If you hear me on Twitter, I do. But I do respect them. So with that being said, I had Miami in 7. As time went on and they started to lose more and more, I picked Miami in 4 and then 5. However, I didn't know that we were going to lose 3 straight games. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. So with that being said, now it's back to Miami in 7. And honestly, you know, I don't know. Boston is a good team. I do disagree with Jay that Tatum the top 5 player. I don't think a top 5 player he's not a superstar to me yet. So I don't see him as a superstar. And frankly, I don't fear Boston. I do understand that we have lost 3 straight games to them, and it makes sense. They're a good team, but at the same time, they aren't that serious to me, and like they're not consistent. They show up and then they disappear. So that being said, I do see them potentially disappearing tomorrow, and for that reason, I have Miami in 7. We're not finna lose. We're winning tomorrow. I guarantee it.
Well, I spoiler alert. I'm about to go through my stuff now, but I'm taking the Heat here, but I'm taking the points, which is kind of a cop out because I don't necessarily have to declare a winner. But spoiler alert, what I'm about to go through is what does Miami always do? Because I think what a lot of people are doing is they're trying to picture like, okay, how's this game gonna go? And they're like, I can't see the Miami Heat dominating the Celtics, but that's not what we're gonna see. We're gonna see the Celtics look like shit because that's what the Heat do. We're gonna see the Heat make the Celtics look like shit, and in the third quarter when the Heat are up 10, we're not gonna be saying, oh wow, Miami's really good. We're all gonna be on Twitter talking about how much the Celtics suck. That's what I think we're gonna see. I could be wrong because I took the Heat in game 5 and Boston annihilated them. So that's actually no. I had 2 losses in the series. I took Boston -3 last night, so I have 2 losses. But yeah, that was my worst loss. So hey, we'll see what happens. So yeah, that sums up how I think this game's gonna go. By the way, thanks to Jay and Joy for joining. Here's my concerns because I already said I'm betting the Miami Heat. I'm taking the points. Here are my worries. Game 6, I feel like that might have been Miami's shot. And I'm not talking about because that was the home game. I'm not talking about because they were playing that game in Miami. I know that's what everyone's thinking. That's not what I'm saying. Boston shot 7 of 35 from 3, 20% from outside. The Heat shot 46.7% from outside. If you get the Celtics on a night where they shoot 20% from 3, you better beat them, man. And the turnover battle, Miami won the turnover battle 12-5. I feel like that was their shot. So that's my concern. Now, it's not scaring me off my bet. I'm still taking the Heat with the points, but I am concerned because when you look at this box score from game 6, and you look at these numbers, there's part of you that's looking at it like, oh shit, that was the Heat shot. But again, as I've said a few times in this series, I will take Eric Spoelstra getting 8 points against Joe Mazzulla 100 times out of 100. Well, 99 times out of 100, let's say. So yeah, I'm taking the points. This is game 7. We know Miami's been here. They're experienced. They've won these games before. Not that Boston hasn't, but we know Miami has. So I'm riding with the better coached team. I'm riding with the team that's back in their comfort zone. I like betting the Heat as underdogs a lot more than I like betting them as favorites. I'm taking Miami, man. As far as the total, I don't really know what to make of this. Oddsmakers put this total at 203. Every single game of this series has gone over that. So obviously, people are going to look at these game logs, and they're all going to bet the over. There's one thing that's abundantly certain. Sportsbooks are never trying to give out free money. So oddsmakers definitely have an angle. They think this game's going under. So maybe I'll take a sharp shot and put a few dollars on the under, but I might not bet the total at all, to be honest. As far as props, I continue to cash Caleb Martin's over points every single game and Duncan Robinson over points as well. Why would I stop? I'm going to play both of them once again. Now, Gabe Vincent is a couple days healthier, so maybe that eats into Duncan Robinson's minutes a little bit, but still, these bets have continued to cash for me, so I'm hitting it again. Caleb Martin over, Duncan Robinson over. So give me the Heat plus the points. Maybe betting the under. Caleb Martin's over. Duncan Robinson's over. Let's do it. Game 7. Ever remember to bet responsibly. If any of these bets change, I will let you know on Twitter, so give me a follow there if you're interested. Also, be sure to give Jay and Joy follows on their social media as well. I really appreciate them coming on. And if you're on Twitter, I feel like joining the space after the games, there's a lot of shit talking there, so join up. It gets pretty funny. A lot of times I just put it down while I'm working and listening. I'm listening to it like a podcast. Some of it gets pretty good.